What's up, LC heads? And hey, happy early Valentine's Day. And speaking of which, Last Claudia has blessed us with a Valentine's Day banner that has Big Titty Goddess Mauna on it. Okay, here she is. She is a god type. I think her official name is Knight of God Mauna. Knight of the Titty God, I guess, because this girl is just racked and stacked. Now, here's what's actually pretty cool about this hero. She is a defensive tank hero. Some of her damage scales off of her defense, and she gets a huge power up after she uses the guard ability. She can guard against magic, she can guard against physical attacks, and she can guard against counter. So we will quickly look through her and see what this is all about. But one thing that stood out to me instantly is this is going to be a hero that's going to be good for guild versus guild, because of the simple fact that a lot of heroes can't be fully utilized in guild versus guild because you're not controlling them, and a lot of them have abilities that will just never proc, or they will not be used the proper way to get the most out of that hero, or they will never be cast or activated, or whatever the case may be. Because this girl's huge damage boost and everything gets activated after she guards, that's pretty much guaranteed to drop in guild versus guild. I didn't see like a timer on it either. So, guild versus guild will start. She'll take a bunch of attacks. As soon as guard activates, she gets like 150% damage boost to her next skill. So as soon as she actually drops an S1, S2, S3, it's going to do substantial damage. And on top of that, she's super tanky, so she's going to be running the clock out. This girl actually has a chance of, taking down some of the enemy team with her abilities as soon as, that extra damage proc. So let's just try to show that off real quick by running this. And I want at least, that kind of gets in the way, huh? And I wanted to at least show off her special. So I think it does look pretty cool. She's got a pretty cool stance at the very end of it. Let's get right back into what we were doing until shift change interrupted us here. So I'm just going to take her in here and let her get clobbered by the ogre, and it's really not going to do shit to her. So that's, one thing, is that she is just so damn tanky. I have her at like 80 or 90 SC. Did not nitpick a bunch of abilities for her. Let's just look at her stats real quick. She's running around at 4135 strength and 2845 defense. Mine 1686, nothing too crazy. Make sure everything did proc on her. Yeah. So we do have, she has a charisma. Damage cap 8,000 to stone, machine, and dragon types. That's actually pretty gnarly. That's a nice charisma against those types. 8,000 to damage cap, that's dope. We also have order to charge. Give the enemy with the highest strength an order to charge debuff that boosts enemy attention draw and cuts defense, mind, and hit point recovery amounts. This is an awesome break to give to somebody, and she has an ability in her kit that will change this. Right now, this targets the enemy with the highest strength. She has an ability that you can toggle on and off that will change that from strength to intelligence. So you can set this up to target a mage first, which is pretty cool. So let's see if, they already got to us. Oh, hold on. Let's play this smart. I'll run down here. There, we got the charisma off. I think we got the order to charge off, but look, we are not getting our ass beat. They're hardly scratching her health. So, she did block, so now our next ability is going to get a pretty high damage boost. So let's just look at our damage, because we'll drop the S3 and we're hitting for 88,000, and just a bunch of those birds got smashed. So we're hitting for 88,000 because we just blocked, right? Now let's target one of these birds, and here's an S1. We're hitting for 40 or 38,000, right? So there is quite a damage difference there, right? You can see that after she blocks, she's gonna like double or sometimes triple her damage. So, oh no, the ogre's glowing, and that's fine because they just can't kill her. Like if I turned auto on, this would be a done deal already. Let's take a look at our stats. Nothing too crazy. Obviously she can't block when she is in the status ailment, but it's not going to take much for us to recover. The S2 is cool too because she like shoots this thing across the map. Here's her S2. So she does have a ranged attack in that S2. It just finished the ogre off, I believe. The S1 is a charge. She charges in there. And the S3 is pretty cool. Nothing over the top because remember she is a tank, right? She is a tank. She is a guard tank. So I don't expect her S1, S2, and S3 to be too gnarly. Oh, we forgot to show off her special. I wanted to see if her special will actually increase in damage after she blocks. So let's do that really quick. And right off rip, I will actually throw up this and this. Wow, look how much nicer that works out when we're not already getting bounced around the screen. So here's our special. And again, I do not have her fully decked out to guard yet. Let's see. Oh, I think the New Year's Eve girl, there, she guarded. I think the best sword for her has something that increases guard chance. I could be wrong, I'd have to actually look at it, but that might be a really good candidate for this girl too. There's also her paid gear. Her paid sword gives her a high strength and it gives her intelligence. She does appear to be scaling off of both of them, at least that's what it says in her profile. And she has an accessory that is absolutely awesome, off the chain, batshit crazy from the back, especially for guild versus guild because it gives you like some protection to counter damage. This girl has a chance of just whooping on a 2P. That's what it's looking like. So we guarded. Let's drop our special. See what damage we're doing here. Well, there's some damage. It's not that much compared to what she usually does after guarding. And that's the thing. There are a lot of abilities that will increase your defense and stuff like that as long as your special is full. So I'm thinking I'm going to build her like that, right? See if we can... Oh no, we did get stunned. That is probably something that I'll have to work on for her, is giving her some resistance to this. And if anything, I think the poison's gonna hurt her the most here. You just need to wait for this stun to wear off. See what her stats are looking like. Oh, we have 5,000 strength now. Yeah, that poison is doing more damage than all of these enemies here. And look at her, look at his health go down now from an S2. Okay, guard procced. So instead of hitting for 30,000, we're hitting for 89. So that will proc in guild versus guild, especially if she's the only one on the map and she takes everybody's basic physical attacks on like wave 1. She's going to get a guard in there, and then when she does retaliate, she might just kill off some of the enemy team with that 150% to the damage and an increase to the damage cap. Let's actually look at some of her abilities. So, you know, the abilities I just showed you guys, it does say that they scale off of strength and intelligence. She doesn't have the highest intelligence stat. She's still mostly, I think, doing everything with her strength. I mean, her strength stat is 2819, and her intelligence is 1121. So she definitely is strength heavy. She has some very interesting stuff, though. Pretty much starting with the traits. Divine Knight, chance to auto guard for magic and auto guard. Chance to guard from magic and auto guard. Okay. One weapon equipped won't flinch from stone, machine, dragon types. And notice machines in there, so that's awesome against a 2P. Physical and magical attacks when entering guard. Commas really messed me up there. Let's see. Won't flinch from stone, machine, dragon type, physical, and magical attacks, so that's good. When entering guard, gives next skill used damage 150%. Damage cap 50,000 more. Damage taken minus 35%. Two weapons equipped when physically attacking, chance to break enemy guard, skill and special damage 30%, and damage cap 40,000 more. She does have dual wield built into her kit. So that there's something there. You can get a lot more out of her S1, S2, and S3 with dual wield, because you're going to be doubling your hit count, right? So getting that 150% more damage, that's pretty awesome. Or wait, is that only with... Hold on, let's... It's really my first time really going through this. Chance to guard for magic and auto guard. One weapon equipped. Okay, won't flinch from stone, magic, attacks, and magic. From stone, machine, dragon, physical, and magic attacks. When entering guard, gives next skill 150% damage. And damage cap 50,000. Damage taken minus 35%. Okay, so that's separate. For the two weapons equipped, she's not going to... It doesn't look like she's going to get that damage boost if she has two weapons equipped. It's looking like that is only a single wield ability, because when she goes into two weapons equipped mode, when physically attacking, chance to break enemy guard, skill and special damage plus 30%, and damage cap 40,000 instead. So yeah, it's not looking like she gets that 150% damage increase after blocking if she's equipped with two weapons. Could be wrong about that, but that's what it looks like, how it's written. So let me know about that if I'm wrong. I'm going to find out by testing her anyway. Interesting stuff. Totally gives you two different ways of playing her. I still think for guild versus guild, single-handing is going to be the way to go to get her to retaliate after guarding. And then trait number 2 is She Without Mercy. Light attack damage 30%. Special damage 50%. Damage cap 70,000. Battlestar autocast order to charge debuff. Okay. Make unit give order to charge debuff effect. Enemy attention draw +2. Defense in mind -20%. Recover from active skills taken by unit -30%. Okay, so if you have that debuff on you, you're taking 30% less recovery from active skills. So that's pretty awesome, and you're getting, draw attention +2 on you, and a defense in mind -20%. That's an awesome break all the way around from that ability, that debuff that she throws. And obviously this is letting you... I didn't even have to cast it, because this Battlestar auto give order to charge debuff. So yeah, I was wasting my time casting that, I guess, because it automatically does it when the fight starts. I was wondering why those birds are dying so quick. Probably because they have -20% to their stats. It's a pretty good break. So pretty awesome trait, something different. Especially a huge difference between single wield and double wield for her. She goes into like ultimate tank mode, I think, when she is double handing a sword. Then let's look at her good stuff down here. There's her charisma, there's her charge. We have attack up max, fighting spirit max. That's awesome. That's strength and hit points, 15% on both of those. That's a big deal. Heroism, strength, defense, hit points 8%, and heroism up 5, strength, defense, hit points 12%, or is that 4? Either way. Then we have the guard abilities. We have heal guard, guard charge, grand guard, guard bash. This is cool. When equipped with guard, when equipped, when guard activates, chance to deal damage to nearby enemies and make most enemies flinch. So that is pretty cool. I think I've been noticing that in her guard animation. Guard bash is cool. She has royal armor. Diamond blade 2 is cool. Physical attack damage plus 30%. And damage cap 5,000 to stone, machine, and dragon types. So it's awesome that they put machine in there because she's going to have a go at it with 2P. We have Auto Grand Brave, Auto Grand Fort. Super nice to have. Auto Haste, it is what it is. Then we have all her light up abilities. From light drive to light high drive, light giga drive, right? Light attack rise 2. So that's a nice one to have in there. Foe free. Pose of glory. When defeating an enemy, restore SCT 5 seconds. Okay. Mageland shield. So when people are sniping her from across the screen, they're doing 30% less damage if they're far away from her. Thundermatory ring plus. Greatly boosts physical attack damage based on intelligence. So, I think this was just part of the strategy to get her behind a paywall for her gear, because her paid sword does give her a nice intelligence stat boost. All in all, though, her intelligence isn't really that high, so I don't think you're going to be drawing too much damage from her intelligence. Her paid sword obviously helps a long way with that, but yeah. We have Blessed Speed. She has dual wield here, so it comes into her kit. You don't have to pay for the dual wield. And then we have Sword High Boost, Sword Mega Boost. Miga's Sharp Eyes is dope. Attack skill uses 3% of max MP for damage 50% and damage cap 5,000. Very nice. Here's where the interesting good stuff comes in. Rebel Banner Pose. Okay, when taking lethal damage, survive very greatly recovers hit points. When surviving lethal damage, give unit a damage taken minus 80% buff for 8 seconds. That's 8 more seconds to run the clock out in guild versus guild. Yeah, so that's cool. God surrendering. What does that say? God's rendering Funner attack. Okay, well, when physically attacking enemies with the Order of Charge debuff, which is going to be all of them, right? Damage cap plus 10,000 and defense minus 30% and deal damage. So think about that, because that debuff already gives them minus 20% defense, minus 20% mind, and a cut to their healing. And now here's another minus 30% defense before you deal damage. So she's really taking advantage of that debuff that she puts on. That's cool. She's going to slice right through some tanks, right? We have Divine Shadow Cladding. Greatly boosts physical attack damage based on unit defense. So she is scaling her physical damage off of her defense. This is cool. I think some of the ship forms of Balin, they have this where they're basing their some of their physical attack damage off of mind. Well, hers is coming off of defense, and she's a really tanky hero, and she has a pretty damn high defense, so that's cool. Fire damage taken plus 30%, but earth and light damage taken minus 40%. Now, you can spend 10 SC to decrease the amount of fire damage that she takes by 20%. If you do that, then she's going to take 10% more fire damage, and she's going to take 40% less earth and light damage. It's totally worth it for the 10 SC. Very cool stuff right there. Interesting. We have this Ethrodramatic God's Blade. give anti-stone, machine, dragon type effects to physical attacks. So she's going to have slayers to all of those. When physically attacking stone, machine, dragon types, damage cap 40,000 more. When equipped with only one weapon, damage cap 80,000 instead. So yeah, she's going to be hitting the machines, the stones, and the dragons for 160,000 a hit instead of 80,000 a hit like I was the ogre and the birds. Remember, she doesn't get any slayer bonuses fighting the birds and the ogre, so really I should have taken her to fight like a golem, a machine, or a dragon. Then we could have really shown off her actual damage. Let's see, and then we have order to charge, and this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that changes how that debuff works. Instead of, let's see, when the skill is set, the auto-given order to charge debuff target changes from the highest strength enemy to the highest intelligence enemy. So, essentially, this is going to let you target mages first. So, that's cool, that's dope, and you can always just turn this off, and she will target the highest strength enemy instead. All in all, pretty interesting stuff. She is definitely shrugging off a lot of damage, right? Very cool hero. Definitely fitting for Valentine's Day, and I think she's just going to be making the rounds in guild versus guild. I've only ran her, I don't have any of her paid gear. I've only ran her with a holy sword and some armor, right? I don't actually have like any real gear picked out for her yet. I did give her a shield just because it has chance to auto guard. So yeah, if we take a look at her paid gear real quick, it is pretty ridiculous. They did have to get this girl behind a paywall somehow, right? But even if you don't get any of that stuff, you're still getting a fun, dynamic, different hero to play that can be set up in different ways. Let's just look at this stuff real quick while we're already here. So here is her sword, right? And it's given 272 strength and 139 intelligence, and this is its base form, right? You're obviously going to be able to alchemy this and increase its stats. So the other thing the sword does is light physical attack damage 30%, damage cap 3,000, defense plus 10%. It is nice to see defense 10% on a weapon, especially for a hero who greatly scales more damage off of her defense. That's cool. And nullify defense down debuffs from active skills. That's very nice. It's going to help her stay tanky, right? But the creme de effing creme here is this accessory, this shield, Bail, whatever this thing is called. 83 defense, 87 mind. Battle start, restore skill 2's SCT 7 seconds. That's kind of like but we have a chance to auto guard on here, so that's nice. We have physical, magical attack, and counter damage taken from enemies with order to charge debuff minus 20%. That's awesome. So, you know, everyone that she hits with that debuff, which is going to be everybody, they're going to do 20% less damage, and that includes counter. So I think that for guild versus guild, this is going to be the way to go. This is also going to give her fire resistance 10, right? Now remember that one ability where she sacrifices some of the... How am I going to say this? That ability that we talked about where she takes more fire damage but then takes less holy and earth damage. I said you could spend 10 SC because it's 30% more fire damage. If you spend 10 SC, you're cutting 20% off of that. And if you have this is 10% fire resistance. So she's going to end up with a flat 0 fire damage taken bonus here. So this is a way between spending 10 SC to take less fire damage and getting this item. She's just going to take like no extra fire damage, but she will still have minus 40% earth and minus 40% light damage, so that's huge. Yeah, this also gives her, what is that, resistance to Curse, Headache. No, it's not Curse. Blind. Whatever one that is, we have a resistance in here to an ailment. This is what I would get for guild versus guild savvy players that want her for GVG. And obviously the sword's cool. Like, that's a lot of extra damage and stuff. The defense 10% is nice. It's definitely good stuff for, and the null defense down debuff, that is nice. Especially for a tanky hero like her. But hey, it is what it is. You're going to build her however you want. Some people might prefer to have her dual wielding. And later on today, after I teach some more abilities onto her, I will probably try to dual wield with her just to see what I can get away with. But I really do like this whole, after you guard, you get 150% more damage. She could take half a party out if she drops her S3 after that procs, if she's double handing, and that's going to let her wear some armor. So there's armors out there that will help her take less counter damage and just less damage in general. So she's already going to be a tanky hero, and she's definitely going to be running that clock out. So Big Titty Goddess Mauna for Valentine's Day. Hope everybody enjoyed. This is her. Well, you know, that's not her. But here, let's just look at her banner. This is her in all of her Twin Peaks glory. And we do have the Arc. I got lucky. I got her and the Arc on the free 10 pull on the paid banner. So all of my, my first 3 steps were meh, I didn't get anything. And on the very last pull of step 1, lap 1, which is the free 10 pull that you get, she came down and her Arc came down. What does it do? Anti-type damage to beast type enemies plus 30%. Cool. Battlestar autocast high protection on all allies. That's dope. That's cool, because that's not high protection on the hero, that's on your whole party is getting high protection off of this. So that's dope. When unit is incapacitated, restore medium hit points to all living allies once per wave. Cool. And we do get what? Brute Killer. That's nice. That's going to help you do more damage with your regular attack against beasts, plants, insects, birds, fish, and creatures. Some of you might be saying, what is that really good for? Heroes that bank off of their basic attack, like Christmas Lilibet. This is definitely going to help Christmas Lilibet do more with her basic attack spam. Also, heroes that are trying to get their MP back with Goddess Kiss. Goddess Kiss gives you MP based on how much damage you do with your basic attack. So by having a killer, you're going to do more damage with your basic attack, and then when Goddess Kiss procs, you're getting more MP back. So this is actually more useful than it looks, especially to a lot of MP hungry heroes that are trying to go the Goddess Kiss way. We also have Light Weapon Breakthrough when hitting an attribute weakness with light damage cap 1000 when equipped with only one weapon, damage cap 2000. So for 3 SC, that's not bad. We have Dragon Geyser, so mages can do more magic damage to dragons. Empty Fort, when MP is 20 or less, defense plus 15%. That could actually be useful in guild versus guild too, because, well, you start your guild fort war with 0 MP, so it's an easy way to slap 15% more defense onto somebody on wave 1. We have Special Shield, and Holy Chance, light attack damage to enemies in feint or in break plus 20%. All in all, not bad stuff. Not a bad arc trait. I think it's actually fairly useful. And what's the Arc Ether reward? Chaos Disaster. That looks like a claw. It's my first time seeing this. Claw. 238. Dark damage. Okay. It's given 63 defense. Intelligence minus 10%, but dark physical attack damage 20%. Crit damage cap 2,500 more. Okay, so this is cool. Yo, I was just thinking that there's not really any really good Dark Claw that I have to put on my goodness, what is the swashbuckling buccaneer pirate chick? Crow. Crow, yeah, I was just thinking that I could use a better Dark Claw to put on Crow. Crow wouldn't mind sacrificing 10% intelligence to do dark physical attack damage plus 20. Awesome. So I might actually unlock this for Crow. That's going to be very nice on her. Speaking of Crow, I might as well just tell you guys, I'm going to be doing a video on the last 2 heroes that dropped from the collab and how to kind of utilize them, because I think they're actually very cool heroes, and they can be somewhat tricky to run, especially Alphen. There's actually a skill that you have to take off of him if you want to utilize all of his crazy damage. And I'm just going to take a little bit of time to explain how Crow works, because if you don't know how to use her right, you will just drain all of her hit points. You don't want to do that at the wrong time. Yeah, and same thing with Alphen, and how to run him with a mage to get all of the crazy stats out of him. Because, well, not a mage, but a healer. You don't want your healer healing him up instantly, because that takes him out of low health, and then he loses his 20,000 strength. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go over those heroes, but I figured since this girl dropped today, I might as well just cover her arc, her paid gear. There, we did the damn thing. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, even though we're still a couple of days off. So yeah, mark that down. That's coming in a couple of days, so your girlfriend's not mad at you. I've been telling my old lady Happy Valentine's Day every day for like the past week, to the point where it's not even going to matter. Even if I do forget, I can be like, I already told you like 1,000 times. So it is what it is. Let me know if you're going to be pulling for her, if you're going to get any of her paid gear. Look at her in her Twin Peaks. She is ridiculous. Comments are open as they always are, and I hope you found this entertaining, and I hope you have an awesome day. I will see you on the flip side.